Make sure you're good to go.
Yep.
Matt Humphrey, can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good deal. Okay. We are joined by our runner-up of tonight's race, Tyler Reddick. If you have questions for Tyler, go ahead and raise your hand, and we will.
Okay. Take off your mask now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go straight into questions for Tyler Reddick, and our first question is going to come from Bob Pockris. Go ahead with the question, Bob. Go ahead with your question, Bob.
Yeah, Tyler, I was just wondering if you felt like if you had 10 or 15 more laps, could you have caught Byron, and just what was working for you at the end?
Well, obviously this was a 400-mile race, Bob, and everyone knew that. So I just I didn't have a very good last restart. We kind of struggled to get our Cheddar Scratch Kitchen Chevy going, and I had just a poor restart, and it was the difference. Unfortunately, that's all there is to it. Needed to be able to hold on better at the start, and
Should be good.
just didn't.
We're also now joined by Chris Buescher. Chris, looking at the run tonight, you did have a stage win, and you also, finished P2 in that second stage. Walk us through your night from your perspective.
It was a really good start for us, and was really happy with the speed we had in the daylight in our Fast and Ford Mustang. Really proud of this group. I think we knew this would be a pretty good test for what we were able to have made gains on during the off season, and I think that showed that a lot of things we hit on and are heading in the right direction. With that, unfortunately, the night did not do us a whole lot of favors, and Dirty Air was really rough on us there at the end, but we still learned a ton out of it. A little bit of fender damage that may have slowed us down. I mean, it's an excuse basically. So we got to keep working at it hard. But I am really proud of everybody and everyone back at the shop. They did a really nice job on this race car. I think we made some awesome gains. We just got to keep our heads down, going to Vegas, and see what we can apply, and definitely work on what we can make better as the race goes on.
Good deal. We're going to go straight into questions now with Jeff Gluck. Go ahead with your question, Jeff.
Yeah, for both Tyler and Chris, I'm just curious, with this being the first mile-and-a-half track, but such a unique track at the same time, how much can we take from seeing all the parity that we saw today? I mean, Chris, you were up there for a while. I mean, McDowell had a strong day. So many different names that, we don't necessarily used to seeing it at mile-and-a-half tracks in recent years. Does that apply going forward?
I mean, I would think so for sure. It is a different racetrack and it is worn out, but you're still gonna maybe not compare it directly to Vegas, which is very fast and high grip, right? But you're definitely gonna be looking at Atlanta or some of these other mile-and-a-halfs that are getting a little rougher, getting a little more wore out. So yeah, there's definitely things that'll apply. Not 100% of it, but at the end of the day, there's a lot that can be learned from these types of tracks, even though the speeds are very, very different from the beginning of a run to the end of a run.
Yeah, I agree with Chris for the most part. I mean, I think of Atlanta. Obviously, we don't go to Fontana. Maybe you'll see it at Kansas, but those kind of tracks, I would agree. Darlington's another one where it may not have the size of the other mile-and-a-halfs, but you move around, search for grip. So I'd say those couple tracks you will, but your Vegas, your repaves, those tracks, I think they'll look a lot different than what we saw tonight, because you don't move around as much, you don't have the tire fall off.
Our next question will come from Dustin Long. Go ahead with the question, Dustin.
Thank you. Tyler, what were the struggles the early part of the race and what turned it around? And I think people would understand racers want to win every race. With the start you had with finishing second, I think some people be kind of maybe a little bit surprised about how down you seem to be right now.
Yeah, just because I knew that it was going to take a well-executed restart, which I unfortunately didn't do. The last 2, 3, maybe it was 4 or 5 spots. I don't know, 5 too many. And it just takes time to get back around those cars. They're good drivers. They know what they're doing. And that's just the difference. So I don't know why we were so off in the beginning of the day here, last year or in the summer. We took off really, really good in the daytime. So I thought we're gonna be better in the day and everyone's gonna catch up at night. It was the opposite. So yeah, when you see how much faster you're running than the guys in front of you, you're running out of time. It gets frustrating. It's really easy to go back and look at one or two things that would have changed the outcome. So yeah, I get it. Can't go back and change it, but we had a really bad start to the year. Second's great, but it's not going to put us in a great. We're still way back in the mix of it. So, look, Darlington and Atlanta, maybe you really can't run the fence at Atlanta, but there's a couple tracks left that what works here, you can somewhat apply to those places.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Mark Garrow. Go ahead with the question, Mark.
Tyler, can you get anything positive out of this, or is the frustration and disappointment of finishing second with a car capable of winning just too much for you at this point?
Well, there's a lot of positives. I feel like story of our my rookie season and the story of our team last year was start off really good, midway through the race, just go they just blows up in our face and we just don't get a good finish out of it. And today was the opposite, which was nice. It's something that we've been needing to get, figure out how we can have nights like this and what we can do to continue to, stay hungry and keep fighting. We definitely tried to work on our car a lot throughout the night, but then we just, made some choices to just go for track position on the pit stops. And that definitely helped us too. So there is positives, but there isn't a whole lot you can take away from here and apply at other racetracks as a driver and how you drive the track, but how you execute and all that you can kind of apply going forward.
What are your expectations, after a win like this and trying to build on it? I mean, do you feel like you're going to just jump and go right to the next mile and a half? We go right to Vegas, another, 1.5 mile track. Do you feel like you guys are capable of just taking this momentum and at least bringing a good car there?
I don't think the momentum carries based on how our long run performance is. The momentum of being able to get out of the hole and being able to fight through that, you can carry that, but it's unrealistic to say that we can go to Vegas and be able to run that much faster than the field. It doesn't happen there. It doesn't happen at Texas since it's been repaved. It doesn't happen at a lot of the tracks that we go to. You have to win these races by being very consistent, making the right calls on pit road, and as a driver, staying up front, keeping your track position. You just can't, you don't have the options you do at Homestead at other places that we go.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Luis Torres. Go with your question, Luis.
Thank you, Matt. This one's for Chris. As gut punching as it may be to get a top 20 result after having a superb day, what does it tell you that how the Raj organization were able to adapt well with Newman scoring a top 10? Of course, you having the strong run before the final run.
It's a step in the right direction for us. The finish is not something we're real happy with right now. It is good to see Brian and the 6 guys be able to get a strong finish out of it. I'm really glad that we were able to run strong through a lot of the race. We just have work to do to figure out how to help ourselves later on, how to work on our cars that are to make them as good in traffic as they can be. To really work on executing everything perfectly through a race so that we can finish where we're able to get to early on. So at the end of the day, it is very frustrating because we definitely felt like we had a car capable of winning early on, and at the end we definitely weren't in that position and didn't have that confidence. So same time, the important part is it's a long off season, and with this being our first mile and a half, we definitely have a lot of things that we learn from. We're definitely going to dissect this one very thoroughly and learn from it even more so that we can have more days like this going forward and then just finish them off on the tail end just as strong as we started today.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead with the question, Jordan.
Yes, I have a question for each Chris and Tyler. First, Tyler, you talked kind of coming into this race how you might be conservative a little bit because of the points hole and everything. I'm wondering if that factored at all at what happened early in the race.
No, unfortunately, we just were way off. It was very odd. You know, the Xfinity car and the Cup car couldn't be any different. You know, our Motorsports car was a Junior Motorsports chassis originally, and it was pretty wild. I fought the same thing in the Xfinity car in the beginning of the race and into the night as just as I did in our Cup car. So I feel like that helped me be able to kind of explain to the team and believe that as it transitioned into night, we were going to get better. So that was a positive, unexpected, but that helped us get through it. But yeah, we weren't trying to be conservative. We brought what we thought was a really good race car. It showed up at the end, but it wasn't there to begin with.
And then Chris, what changes has Jimmy Fenning done over the offseason that has helped Roush Fenway get better?
Man, I don't know that I could go through and tell you one thing. There's a list of things that we've tried to do, you know, just to try and create a central person to really help guide our race team in general across all departments to work towards common goals. Even so much as bring back some old school techniques, you know, just to really sit down and tear into what it is we feel like we're lacking and get input from not only Jimmy or the crew chiefs, but the entire race shop and try and work to figure out what everyone's collective knowledge is telling them. The vast majority of team members that are at our race shop have been working in racing their entire lives, and they know what they're doing, and they have insight into something that helped them through the years in some race car. And I think a lot of that has you know, come together, try and work hard to find that for us and really put together a lot of these small things so that we can have a bigger result at the end of the day. So I think everyone knows Jimmy as a very hard-headed racer that has a ton of respect throughout our entire organization. And I think that we believe in him. Jack believes in him, and I think we all wanted to help build Jack's legacy and to keep building it. You know, he's been doing this a long time. It's won a lot of races, and we're just trying to get back to those days where we can be winning multiple races through a year and contending for championships at the end of the season. So, you know, there's not one thing I can tell you, but many things that were happening each and every week through the off season.
All right, for Chris and Tyler, thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.